Hello again. Welcome to another live stream episode of the LOC Report. Happy to have you. As always, it's me. So again, as you can see, Chris's boss decided to take his office to the Saints match tonight. So my boss wasn't that nice. So I'm kidding, he's fine. But yeah, no, just me again. So we won't make it a long episode. But boy, it's going to be a good week of LOC football, I tell you, because we enter the final week of the season now, the regular season. And there's still plenty of playoff places up for grabs. We got rid of some teams. We shed the dead weight this week a bit, getting rid of some of the teams. As the episode you'll see is named, the cutlery is finally coming out. It's been a while. Weeks 13 and 14. It's usually out long before this. But it's coming out this week, so we've got a good show for you. I'm trying to bring the comments up right now, but my YouTube is not playing ball. Someone may have commented. I apologize if you did. It's gone. Please comment again. And yes, as I said, we're live. It's me today, so please let's get the chat going. If you're watching, let's make this a good episode. Phil's comment is still there. I'll lose all the rest of my Sundays. It's a great comment to have, apparently, on every video I post now. And could also be very possibly true. Sorry, Phil. Anyway, let's get to it. The league news. And it might have helped if I started recording on this. But hey, we're committed now. Let's actually, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna record now. Okay. League news. Right. So league news. As I said, playoffs are approaching. And with playoffs, we know people come and watch the games at mine. Well, they do anyway. But for the Corona Bowl, we like to make an event out of it. So Corona Bowl 8, 24th of December. Get yourself to LOCHQ if you're around. It's going to be a good day. We'll do the awards. We always do the awards now on Corona Bowl, on the Corona Bowl weekend. And we had a question about this week, so I'll just read out the awards that we've got, just in case you don't know, and what they're for. So we have there's league mandated ones. So there's a regular season champion that's done through the league as its highest scoring team. Division champions, again, not officially looked at on the thing, but we track it. One done by the league. Coach of the Year, that's one we award. General Manager of the Year, now I'll explain the distinction between these two. Coach of the Year is really about picking the right team every week, so not leaving, the right players on the bench, actually, watching your team, making changes, that kind of stuff. GM of the Year is more about your draft and how you roster manage through the season, your waiver ads and things like that. We didn't have any trades this year, so we can't use that criteria. That's usually part of it, but there were no trades this year, amazingly. League Commissioner Award, that's kind of like it's an award, personally, from my point of view, that I give, and it's based on contribution to the league, almost sportsmanship, performance on the field as well, service, that kind of thing. All those things kind of blended into one. So it's an award, for that kind of thing. Comeback Award, a team that had a bad last year or a bad last few years, or a team that had a bad start this year and turned it around. I'm not going to list a front runner here, but you can probably guess who's probably the candidate for Comeback Award. The Comeback Award. He is Jeff Fisher's spirit animal. The Overachiever Award for the team that perhaps was expected to do badly, either because they had a bad draft, they've had injuries, or they're new to the league, they're not an experienced coach, they don't pay that much attention, that kind of thing. And then finally, we've got the Luck Award. The Luck Award is pretty much self-explanatory for the luckiest team. I think last year we might have given that to Nige, because he scored he conceded the least amount of points out of every team, obviously made the playoffs and won. And you know what? He's in the running for the exact same reason again. So there we are. Anyway, that's your update on the awards. We'll jump straight to the injury news right now. Let's see what we got cooking. Doug Martin, he suffered a back injury supposedly in last week's game, but he should be fine this weekend. Marvin Jones missed last weekend with a quad, but he should return this weekend. Devontae Parker Didn't look like he was going to play with a back injury. Suited up, had an okay day. Should be good to go this week. What else we got cooking? AJ Green, I'm pretty sure he's already been ruled out. He's not going to play this week. Theo Riddick, he's not practicing due to a wrist injury, but he's been on the injury report all season long, so I imagine he'll play. Jordan Reed has started practicing on a very limited basis again. I would say that he probably won't play. Who else we got? Michael Thomas. He has... What injury does he have? That is a good question. He's got a foot injury, so that's not ideal for him. I would imagine he'll probably suit up on game day. Who else is there? Adrian Peterson, quick blurb on him. He could return. He could return this season. We'll have to see. And yep, glad to see it. Ollie has done his customary bench all of his players, so that's going to be fun in a bit. Ryan Matthews, I believe he missed last week's game. Full participant this week with that knee injury. He should be good to go. Mark Ingram, he had a toe injury last week. It's now evolved to a toe knee injury. I'm not sure if he plays. Probably will, I would say. Sammy Watkins did not participate with a foot injury, but he'll be good to go for Sunday. Just going to take a pause. YouTube is being weird, as is this video for some reason, so if you are commenting, please let me know on Facebook, because I'm not seeing them if you are, and for some reason it's got last week's video name, which is super helpful. Kinks here in the third week of the live stream. Anyway, Andrew Luck returned from his concussion last week. He'll be good to go this week. Lamar Miller, he went down Sunday's game. He's had rib injuries all season long. Had a bit of an ankle injury this week as well, but he should be good to go. Jarvis Landry, he did not practice Wednesday but returned today. Not injury related. He'll be fine. Moving on. Frank Gore didn't participate in practice. Neither did Fitzgerald. Rest day for the old guys. Don't worry. Will Fuller, he was a limited participant with a hip injury. I'd imagine he'll be good to go for Sunday. Jonathan Stewart did not practice. Just a rest day for him. No need to panic. Eric Ebron, he's got a knee injury. He's been banged up again all year. But he should be good to go for Sunday as well. Julio Jones did not participate. He's got some sort of toe injury. It was reported turf toe. It's a tough one to play through. I can attest to that. But he's a tough dude, so I'd imagine he'll play. Jordan Matthews, he missed last week's game with an ankle injury. I would imagine he returns this week. Darrell Green Beckham, he didn't practice due to an abdomen injury, but I would think he probably plays. Jimmy Graham didn't participate in practice. Again, just a rest day for an injury-prone guy. What else we got? Rob Gronkowski on IR, as we said last week, still in Phil's lineup. Carson Palmer didn't practice. It's a rest day. Alan Hearn's hamstring missed last week's game, I think, but he should be coming back this week. Carson Palmer didn't practice. Nearly it's a rest day. Matt Taylor, limited participant. Just a rest day for him. Chris Ivory, he's a hamstring injury. I believe he missed last week's game, but I'd imagine he comes back this week too. So there we go. I can tell we have one watcher here, so hello to the one watcher. Hope you're enjoying the show so far. So we'll get to the transactions now. When my page loads, there we go. What do we have? We had Foot Fires. They added Christine. Oh, sorry, that was Sunday. Excuse me. Bedene's added Darius Green, Jason Wynn. That's a good ad. Bedene's have been searching for a tight end. Stat for you, Bedene's would have won both of their last two games had they really just played a tight end that scored anything. So that's really tough to take. Sadly eliminated for the playoffs now, but hey, they might get a tight end that can help them for the forfeit playoffs. Don't forget that coming up. Make sure you come up with a forfeit for your opponent or a reward for you if you win. Forward Flyers added TJ Yeldon and dropped Christine Michael. Gridiron Gang added Dontrell Inman, and dropped Landon Davis. Ben Necessity added the Bengals defense, playing the Browns, good ad. Dropped the Miami Dolphins defense. Cash for God added Justin Fossett, dropped Marquise Lee. Now that's an on-the-ball ad right there by the rookie coach, just added by the Broncos, and feasibly could step into the starting role there, so a great ad. Pakistan added the Bills D and dropped Philadelphia Eagles D. Forward Flyers added Mike Gillisley and dropped Wendell Smallwood. Gridiron Gang added Ted Ginn and dropped Jeremy Macklin. He's been a bust. Pakistan added Kenneth Farrow and dropped John Brown. I have no idea who Kenneth Farrow is, but I can only imagine it's a handcuff for their star running back, Melvin Gordon. Gridiron Gang added the Falcons D and dropped Green Bay Packers D. And finally, ADZ added another Titan in Dennis Pitter and dropped Lance Kendricks. So those are your transactions for last week. And we're not going to delay here. We're just going to get straight into last week's games. So we'll start off with... what game did we pick as the marquee matchup last week? Or did I is the better question? I honestly cannot remember. Great viewing this, doesn't it? But we'll go with Pakistan v ADRZ first, because they are the two, it's fair to say, at least ranking wise, two best teams this season so far. Number 1 and number 2 in the standings. Pakistan, we all know they've had a great season, but they've been a bit average of late, it's fair to say. ADRZ, meanwhile, they got hot at the right time again. It looked like they were kind of regressing a bit, but they just put their foot back down on the gas pedal and secured a playoff place last week. Coming into this game, the history of this matchup, ADRZ were 2-0 against Pakistan, and that is now 3-0. ADRZ take this one 97-83. Main reasons for that: Devontae Freeman, 22 points. Kenny Britt, 12. He's been a pretty decent receiver for them. Matt Prater, kicker, 18 points. Boy. But it was more about Pakistan not firing on all cylinders than anything. Golden Tate got 20. Melvin Gordon got 19. Phil Rivers got 18. But behind that, only one player went over 5 points, and that was a 5.8. So you can clearly see why Pakistan had a subpar week. And they can't blame the buys this week. It was just a bad week. So they'll look to rebound next week. Meanwhile, ADRZ possibly could even take the number 1 seed, depending on the points differentials. I'm not sure. It could be the number 1 seed, so I want to watch out for there. Next game then, Iknan took on the Brady Bunch. History of this matchup is Iknan are 3-1 all the time against the Brady Bunch, so they've got the edge over them. Now this was definitely an interesting game for playoff implications, because I have a feeling this is probably the game that I picked for marquee matchup in hindsight. Both these teams were 6-6 last week. The winner would be, so if the Brady Bunch won, they could still win that division. If Iknan won, basically either way, if both teams won, it keeps them in a good position in the wild card. Only one could win though, and that team was Iknan, 101-91. So they are 4-1 against the Brady Bunch now. Looking down, Wilson got 17 points. Blunt got 14 points. Sean McCoy got 19 points. Steven Gostkowski had a good week. He got 14 points. Felt like he was kicking a field goal all the time. So a good solid week for Iknan. They've been a good solid team all year long. It's fair to say. Brady Bunch, 91 points. A decent week. And, the reason behind it really is Brady didn't have the best of weeks. If he had a typical Brady week, he may have snuck the win here. Brady only gets 16, still an alright score. Antonio Brown got 11. Kelsey got 14. Tucker and his D got 22 combined. And then there was some decent scores behind that, but ultimately nothing eye-popping. Explains the loss there. This team, always has the capability to score well, but it just didn't happen this week. So they're now 6-7. They've got to win and get some help to make the playoffs, and I wrote a good playoff article this week, so check that out if you want to see the routes to the playoffs for every team. Meanwhile, Iknan at 7-6. They're in a very good position to get a chance at a wild card now, so it'll be interesting to see next week. We just had a comment on the board, not from any of you guys. We have a different fan. The account is called TV Goals. I'm not sure this is a fan I want, and they're not English, because they commented Voce ta falando Cezinho, which could be something vulgar I've just read out in a foreign language, but hey, I did, so welcome to the show, I guess. Anyway, Dream Team take on Tom's Tyrants. The Dream Team could essentially lock up the division with a win last week. They have superior point total over anyone in their division. They held a win over anyone entering the week. Meanwhile, Tom Tyrants just playing the upset, really. They got eliminated. Sorry, they didn't get eliminated from the playoffs. But they were they haven't looked good lately. The point totals aren't good. They really didn't have any chance of playoffs at 5-7, it's fair to say. And those chances have been thoroughly put to bed now, as they are now 5-8 and have been eliminated from the playoffs. 92-88. History of this matchup is now the Dream Team 3-7 against Tom's Tyrants all time, so Tom's Tyrants typically have the edge in this one. And really, it shouldn't have even been a contest. Tom's Tyrants, they were at 50 points entering Monday night, and then Andrew Luck came out with a 38-point game, basically, and really made the score look okay for what was just a terrible week. Tyrell Williams got 10. No one else went over 10 apart from that. Not a great week. You want to look on the other side of the ball, 92. Dream Team actually had a good week. A really good week, because Des Bryant got 14. Latavius Murray got 22. Julio Jones got 11. Matt Bryant got 12. The Ravens D got 19. And there was just a few players, key players on the team that did nothing. Drew Brees got 7. James Starks got 1 rush yard. Greg Olsen got 3 points. Darby Greenback in the flex got 2.9. So, 92 doesn't sound like a great week, but when you look at that, boy, they did well to get to 92. Maybe fortunate to win the game, but they won the game. Good job. As I said, they aren't confirmed playoffs, but 99.9% in the playoffs. Next game, Cash for Gold to take on the Detonators. This was a great game, because both these teams, again, are fighting for the playoffs. Entering this one, Cash for Gold 5-6, Detonators 5-7. Detonators losing 4 in the trot. They were in absolute must-win mode for any chance of the playoffs. Meanwhile, Cash for Gold, a win, depending on the result in the Dream Team game, would have given them a chance to perhaps win the division. If not, a win keeps them alive in the wild card. The history of this matchup, there is none. This was the last team Cash for Gold has to play everyone. There was a dog outside, if you didn't know. And it was a close one, not a high-scoring game, but 86-83 in favour of Cash for Gold. But then it's eliminated from the playoffs after what has been a massively unlucky year. How many times has Bedene scored 90 to 100 points this season? Probably more than I can count on my hands. The one time they don't is the one time it would have got them the victory after all of their bad luck. As I mentioned, the Titans stat, any Titan they would have played realistically would have got points, would have got them points. Looking down, Marouane gets 18, not great. Spencer Ware gets 17. Edelman and Beckham got 10 each, and their defense, Broncos got 18. An okay week, but behind that, not much else. Cash for Gold, again, they were quite much of the same, to be honest. Aaron Rodgers gets 19, Elliott gets 16, Cooper gets 11, Graham gets 12, Steelers get 13, but behind that, really not much else. Not much to speak of. A close game. Cash for Gold to stay alive. That is sadly eliminated. Now we get to what was probably our game of the week. Gridiron Gang v Tuckfards. Who knew? Gridiron Gang, they were really good early on. They were putting up points but losing games, and they struggled a bit. Had a nice rebound week a couple weeks ago. Just fell apart a bit again last week. Meanwhile, the Tuckfards, they've just looked bad for quite a while now. History of this matchup: Gridiron Gang were 4-7 all time against the Tuckfards. Tuckfards, they got 118 points in this one, but it wasn't enough. Gridiron Gang, with I think a season best, 137 points, right when it mattered. Couldn't leave it another week. Phil needed a win. He was 5-7 to stay alive in the playoffs here. 5-8 now, eliminated. Gridiron Gang, they were also 5-7, so it was a win or go home game. Every game at the moment for any 5 or 7 team was a win or go home game. Gridiron Gang stay alive with a great performance, and boy, just a great day for them. Derek Carr 25, David Johnson 30, Jordan Howard 30. Incredible scenes from the running backs there. Receivers chipping in 5 and an 8. They're playing Mike Wallace and Malcolm Mitchell right now. That's what it's come to for Gridiron Gang. Doug Martin, he got a 12, Terry got a 13, and some other scores behind that. On the other side of the ball, the Tuck Fards, Ben Roethlisberger gets 21, West gets 18, Croucher gets 13, Crowder gets 10, Thomas Rawls with a whopping 24, Janikowski and the Vikings 12 apiece, and had they played Gronk, who got a big fat 0, they would have got an extra 15, still wouldn't have won, would have gone to 133, but really great week from Phil. Hats off to you, mate. With that team that you've been struggling with, Ramona, you did well to get to that. Maybe something good for you going into the forfeit playoffs. We'll have to see. Next game, Ben Necessities take on Forge Flyers, and as I said, for the 5 and 7 teams, win or go home. The playoffs started in week 13 for the 5 and 7 teams. Forge Flyers were 5 and 7. Ben Necessities were 6 and 6. Ben Necessities also trying to keep up in the division and in the wildcard race. The history of this matchup: Forge Flyers were it was split down the middle, 5 and 5, but it's split no more. Ben Necessities took it 90 to 87. So many close games. It's such a crucial week in the LOC. And what got Ben Necessities there? Look, they look pretty good after that, early-ish real drought. They've come back and been pretty consistent. Eli Manning gets them 15, Le'Veon Bell gets them 16, Hopkins gets them 11, Ertz gets them 13, and they get a few supporting scores behind that. The other side of the ball, Forge Flyers, Newton gets you 15. They've had so many good weeks in Mariota, but we mentioned the Tennessee Titans were on a bye last week, which means most of Forge Flyers was on a bye. And Forge Flyers really is the core to their team. Jordy Nelson got 18, T.Y. Hilton got 15, Patriots did got 19, but behind that, really not a lot else. Disappointing for Forge Flyers. They had those injuries at the start of the season, which were absolutely crippling. They put up decent amount of points despite that, and they really took off, hit their stride, and they've just slowed down at the wrong time. Unfortunate for them, but hey, compared to the last few seasons, they'll take it. Meanwhile, Ben Necessity stays alive in the playoff race. And that is all your games from last week. So I'll give you a quick update on any of the accolades that were achieved last week. We got any nice round numbers going down here. Coach Nunn, congratulations. You have notched your 30th regular season loss. All done. What else we got cooking? Not much else by the look of things going down there, but a few good things for next week that will come to. As I said, go check out the playoff route article, only on the blog this week, not on the fantasy site, so go check that out. It gives you a rundown on the 5 teams still alive, who we'll go into a bit more detail on now. Southampton division, you've got ADRZ 8 and 5. They made the playoffs last week. You've got Gridiron Gang, they hop up to second, 6 and 7 on points, ahead of Brady Bunch, who are also 6 and 7. Forge Flyers, 5 and 8. They're out of contention now, stick a fork in them, they're done, but it's been a good season for them. Portsmouth division, 9 and 4. Pat's already locked up that division. If he gets a win this week, he gets to 10 wins. He now moves to 7 and 6. They can only get the wild card at this point. They stay alive. Detonators and Thomas Torrance both at 5 and 5. Detonators, they lost last week, so they were eliminated. Stick a fork in both of those teams. Dream Team, 8 and 5. Now I mentioned this. They're 8 and 5 with 1,348 points. Meanwhile, you got Cash for Gold and Bare Necessities, both at 7 and 6. However, they only have 1,270 and 1,225 points respectively. So it would take a massive swing for any of them to steal the division away from Dream Team. Dream Team has basically locked up a playoff spot. Well done to them for the 3rd year in a row, I believe. Meanwhile, the other two still alive in the wild card, and Tugfards, they're at 5 and 8. Stick a fork in them, they're done. So the route to the playoffs, you got 3 teams on 7 and 6. Any of those 3 teams wins, and the other 2 loses, that team, the 1, goes to playoffs. If one of the 7 and 6 teams wins, and another, or both of the other ones win, it all comes down to points. Cash for Gold is 1270 right now. It can earn has 1263. Bare Necessities has 12-25. So really, if Catch for Gold and Ickenham win, it's really a toss-up. Bare Necessities would have to win and win big for any chance if any of the other 7 and 6 teams win. Then you've got Gridiron Gang and the Brady Bunch, who play each other in a showdown in week 14. They need to win to get to 7 and 7, and then hope the other 7 and 6 teams all lose just for a chance to the playoffs. Both of those teams have 1,356 points for Gridiron Gang, Brady Bunch 1,314. So again, barring a massive swing, if they win and the other teams lose, quite likely they'll make playoffs. I'm not going to go into any ties or anything. It's pointless. It's not going to happen. If it does, I'll do something crazy on next week's show, whatever. Those are your playoff scenarios, really. It's going to be a good week. And with that, we will take a look at next week's matchups because, with that in mind, we've got some good ones. And I'm going to start off with Gridiron Gang v. the Brady Bunch because, as I said, the winner, these two teams, they absolutely must win. Absolutely must win for even a chance at the playoffs. They need to win and get some help. Win or go home mode. They got to win. History of this matchup: Gridiron Gang 3-1 against the Brady Bunch all time. Projections currently have this one 98-81. Brady Bunch coming off a loss. Gridiron Gang coming in off a win. Both these teams look hot right now. And looking down the lineup, it's gonna be a score fest. Start off with the Brady Bunch. They've got Tom Brady. I love Tom Brady. Perhaps this is a tough matchup in Baltimore. A lot of stats out there say he struggles to get to Baltimore, but hey, it's Tom frickin' Brady. I don't care what the stats say. He can have a bit of week every week. Carlos Hyde, bell count for San Fran. Can have a good day playing the Jets D. J.J. playing Arizona, not a great matchup there. Antonio Brown, matchup-proof guy. Starling Shepard in the lineup right now. Travis Kelce against Oakland. It's a nice matchup. And then you look on the other side of the ball. Kirk Cousins playing Philadelphia. David Johnson against Miami. Jordan Howard against Detroit. CJ Fedorowicz against the bad Colts D. And you've got Doug Martin, who's playing New Orleans, but Doug Martin's looking a bit iffy. New Orleans' defense has been pretty good lately. But then the receivers, we know Gridiron Gang are struggling with the receivers right now. Mike Wallace and Dontrell Inman currently in the lineup. This team is holding 7 wide receivers at the moment, 8 if you include Eric Decker in the reserve. They're scrambling all over the place. However, Gridiron Gang have been a very consistent team all season long. The Brady Bunch, since they got Tom Brady in the lineup, have been quite good as well. But they've got quite a few tough matchups. Gridiron Gang have a few juicy matchups. I think it could be a close game. The Brady Bunch, they can go off at any minute. But I think close one goes to Gridiron Gang. Gridiron Gang goes to 7-7, has a chance at the playoffs. For the third year in a row, has a chance at the playoffs. Next game, ADRZ against Forge Flyers. History of this matchup. ADRZ 5-4 against Forge Flyers. Meaningless game at this point. ADRZ, they've locked up a playoff spot. Potentially could get the first overall seed with a win and a Pakistan loss. Let's just look at the scores. We'll take a big point swing. ADRZ on 12.65, Pakistan on 13.08, but it can happen. Meanwhile, Forge Flyers, as I said, eliminated. They're jostling for position in the forfeit playoffs now. I mean, hard luck to Chris. He could end up in the Special Brew Bowl for a third year running, despite having a good season, being 5-8. Go figure. He's on a 3-game losing streak right now. ADZ on a 2-game win streak. Projections currently have this one being close, 85-83 in favor of Forge Flyers. Looking down the lineup, all the Titans obviously go back into the lineup for Forge Flyers, but they do play Denver, so that's not good. Jordan Nelson's playing Seattle. T.Y. Hilton's playing Houston. It's not a good matchup week for Forge Flyers, I hate to say. Meanwhile, ADRZ, Devontae Freeman against LA is not the best. They don't have any particularly juicy matchups, I'd say, but none anywhere near as bad as Forge Flyers. On that basis of alone, I'm going to have to go with ADRZ for the win. Next game, another completely pointless game, literally just jostling for position in the forfeit playoffs. Bedernay is 5-8. Tom Tyrant's 5-8. I would say loser of this game, looking down, pretty likely, or quite likely, I should say, they will be in the special Brew Bowl. So a lot to play for these teams. Projections. Currently have this one 71-12 because Bedernay has benched most of his lineup. History of this matchup: Tom Tyrants are 6-4 all time against Bedernay. We'll start with Bedernay. They have got Spencer Ware and Ladarius Green in the lineup. I'm going to pause. Welcome, Viv. We've just had our first comment late to the show, but he's joined. Viv, we have not done your team yet, so you joined at a good time. We're on the previews now, mate. So some fire comments here. We've got Yo, late entrant to live feed. Where the bant? Where is the bant? That is the question. And Phil, you're a waste man. Question asked and answered. There's the bant. Welcome, Viv. Good to have you. Back to Bedernay, sorry. Spencer Ware, he's playing Oakland. Ladarius Green, Buffalo. Yeah, you knew they were going to play behind that. We've got Matt Ryan against LA or Dak Prescott against the Giants. I imagine it'll be Dak Prescott. Other running backs, they have Ingram, Jennings, or Ryan Matthews. We just had a comment, Viv, sticking true to Viv fashion. In classic Dream Team style, he has just come for his team. We all know he just skips to his part in the podcast, so you're not a great listener, Viv. We don't like that. Listen to the show, please. I anticipate Rashad Jennings probably playing, and I'd say Mark Ingram as well, but who knows. Bedernay seems to always pick the wrong running back somehow. Receivers, Julian Edelman, I imagine he'll probably play. Emmanuel Sanders against Tennessee, he might play. Terrell Pryor against Cincinnati. Travis Benjamin against Carolina, he'll definitely play. And Odell Beckham will definitely play as well. I don't care about kicker and defense. So punters are people too. Don't really care about kickers and D. Tom's Tyrants, Andrew Luck, he's back. He's a big one. He's playing Houston defense away. They're terrible away. Running backs, Lamar Miller against Indy. It's a pretty good one. Tyrell Williams against Carolina. It's a pretty decent matchup. Terrell Eifert against the Browns. Sean Jackson against Philly. Revenge game. I mean, I hate to pick against Bedernay because they're such a consistent team, but we see time and time again they just lose because other teams outscore them, and it's really not fair. Part of it's self-inflicted because they leave points on the bench, but the points they leave on the bench, you wouldn't argue with the players they played. But I said with the Dream Team earlier in the season, I was bang on. Sometimes you just get in a funk with bad luck, and it just keeps coming. Down a 5-game lose streak. Tom Tyrants on a 4-game losing streak, so they're by no means good at the moment, but I could see Tom Tyrants sneaking this game and winning. Next game, Ikanan take on Pakistan. Pakistan, as I said, they've already made the playoffs. 9-4. They could get to 10 wins with a win this week. Meanwhile, Ikanan, as I explained in the playoff scenarios a minute ago, if they win and the other 7 and 6 teams lose, they make the playoffs. If they win and the other one of those teams wins, it comes down to points, but they stand a pretty good chance. Excuse me. Tired throat. It's tough doing a solo podcast. So, a lot at stake for Ikanan. They're on a 4-game win streak. History of this matchup. Ikanan are 0-2 against Pakistan all time, so not on their side. Projections currently have this one being pretty low. Don't agree with this. 79 to 78. Sorry. Looking down the lineup, Ikanan's got Russell Wilson against Green Bay, Frank Gore against Houston, Fitzgerald against Miami, Tyler Boyd against Cleveland, Fleener against Tampa Bay, Sean McCoy against Pittsburgh. All some really good matchups there. Pakistan, they've got Winston against New Orleans, Stewart against San Diego, Gordon against Carolina, Tate against Chicago, Evans against New Orleans. They've got some really juicy matchups. Gurley against Atlanta. There's some really good matchups there. I think it could be a close game. Ordinarily, I'd pick Pakistan. They've been in a bit of a rut lately, but I love Palestine. I think they're going to be great for the playoffs. And definitely a contender to win it all. But Iknan, I don't know, they just have a way. They have a way. 4-game win streak. They're hot right now. They made the Corona Bowl last year. I think they will themselves more than anything to the playoffs to win here. But I think it could be a close one. So Iknan to win this one. Now we get to your team, Viv, and we're going to skip it because you joined. No, I'm kidding, mate. So yeah, the Dream Team take on Cash for Gold. The first matchup in this game, Dream Team won it. However, there's a lot at stake this time. The Dream Team, as I said, 99.9% sure they've made the playoffs. Oligano has commented, hashtag Cash for Gold for Gold. It's a pretty good hashtag, to be fair. And it's key, because I'm just getting to that. Dream Team really don't need to win this game. A win would mathematically, obviously, secure them playoffs, but even with a loss, it would take a lot to make them lose playoffs. Whoever's just commented, lol. Love it. Cash for Gold, on the other hand, 7-6. They're in that bucket of 5 teams, still looking for the wild card. They win and the other 7-6 teams lose, they make the playoffs. They win and the other ones win. Just had a card. How much gold to throw the game? None of that. Remember, I'm the commissioner. We got anti-competitive rules now. It's collusion right there, Viv. You don't want to lose a win or anything at this point, or some points at this point of the season. He accepts golds, being Robbie golds. I believe there was only one you would want anyway. So. And TV Gold has commented, Rasta Man. Great input from our new fan right there. Back to our game. So as I said, really Cash for Gold needs to win this. They're on a 4-game win streak. The Dream Team on a 5-game win streak, opposite of the Detonator's Tom Tyrants game. Projections currently have this one 86-71. Looking down the lineups, you got Drew Brees against Tampa Bay. He usually performs well against the division. You got Des Bryant against the Giants. Julio Jones against LA. Greg Olsen against San Diego. Some good matchups in there. Viv comments, who even is this about TV goals? They're our new fan, Viv. Get on board. Come on. The LOC has become a global brand now. As I said, we have a new fan. Welcome, TV goals. Whoever you are. Meanwhile, on Cash for Gold side of the board, they've got some tough matchups. Aaron Rodgers, he's playing Seattle. For Set, straight in the lineup. They've been desperate for that second running back all season long behind Elliott. He's playing Tennessee. Elliott's playing the Giants. Baldwin's against Green Bay. Cooper's against Kansas City, who have not been great. Graham's against Green Bay. And then they've got Rashad Matthews against Denver. On the balance of things, I think Cash for Gold probably has a bit more star power. But they also have some really bad matchups in there. Dream Team, we see every week. They get points come hell or high water. As we said in the review, some of their key players just had absolutely diabolical weeks last week, and then other ones completely made up for it. And that's kind of always been the Dream Team's way this season. They'll get the points either by people slacking and other ones making up for it, or a team effort. So on that basis, the Dream Team to win and perhaps put Cash for Gold's playoff hopes in the coffin. So we'll see. Our final game then, the Tuckfards take on Ben Necessities. Tuckfards, as we said, they've already been eliminated. 5-8, staring a special brew bowl appearance in the face. Meanwhile, Ben Necessities, they're still alive in the playoffs. Behind on points, they're at 7-6, so if they win and Cash for Gold and Nicknack lose, they make the playoffs. If they win and one of the other teams win, they need to get some points to boot. History of this matchup, Ben Necessities are 6-5 against the Tuckfards all time. So a pretty close one. Projections currently have this one really lopsided, 103-55. Looking down the lineup, let's see why that is. Ben Roethlisberger playing Buffalo, could be a tough game. Terrence West against Softish, New England run D. Rob Kelly against Philadelphia. Crabtree against KC. Crowder against Philadelphia. They got to get Rob Gronkowski out of the lineup. Got to get him out. And Rose against Green Bay. I don't know why they're only projected that much. They've got some absolutely great matchups there. Meanwhile, Ben Necessities, Andy Dalton playing Cleveland. You love that. Forte against San Fran, you love that. Bell against Buffalo. Hopkins gets Indy, but Texans offense has not been good this year. Brandon Cooks against Tampa Bay, he's not been good lately. And Moncrief against Houston. This could be a close game. It could be a high score as well. There's some really good matchups. Certainly on top side of the ball. Some good ones on Banner City, some of that not so good. But I honestly, after last week for Tuckfards, 180 points, I can honestly see them taking this game. I'm going to pick them to take this game. Tuckfards with an upset, perhaps avoiding the special blue roll. They win it. And that is your previews. So I will give you a quick view on the milestones and then we'll wrap up the show. Looking down the list what we got. So if Coach Stubbs Sr. loses this week, he could notch his 50th regular season loss. Good luck. If Coach Barnes wins, he could notch his 60th regular season win. That'd be a great achievement. If I lose, I could notch my 60th all-time loss. Join the 60 loss clubs. Chris, you would not be on your own anymore. What else we got? Not much else down there really. So yeah, that's all your milestones to look forward to next week. Obviously, as I say, last week of the regular season, enjoy it. We got the forfeit playoffs to look forward to right before we wrap up. Viv and Ollie, comment if you've came up with any ideas for your forfeit playoff yet. You might not even be in it, but you might make playoffs and make the Corona Bowl. We'll see. But come up with your ideas. Anyway, I've just broken my dad's desk chair. Not ideal. So it's going to be a great weekend of LOC football. If you're around the Heath, obviously you're welcome to LOC HQ. We've got a few really great things to watch. The playoff race is always such an exciting time. It's also, an interesting time for the forfeit playoffs because as much as the playoff race are interesting, none of the forfeit playoff brackets are set in stone either. We can't call who's going to be in the special Brew Bowl right now. There are 4 teams on 5 and 8. It has to be 2 of them realistically. So that's going to be good. We haven't had any comments from Viv and Ollie. That's disappointing. I'm disappointed in you guys. Even more so in Viv for joining late, as per. And then trying to collude. It's not been a good episode for you, Viv. What are you doing, mate? But hey, I'm not going to drag this out any longer. Best of luck this weekend to all the playoff teams. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you to review the playoff madness next week and take a look at the forfeit playoffs too. Goodbye.